gathered friends, listen again to our legend of the BIONICLE.
Howdy folks, my name is Cub, and I will be your host for this, BIONICOMM Episode 5, recorded on May the 2nd, 2015. How to do, good people of the internet, how are you doing? My name is Cub, of course, as I said like 10 seconds ago when I introduced the episode. And let me go ahead and welcome you all back to something that I have not done since September of 2014. This is BIONICOMM, a Bionicle community podcast, and it is good to be back. Now, where have I been? Why have I not been making these? Those of you who keep track of the YouTube channel, Cubs Bricks, will know that I have made a couple of videos this year over there, but I haven't been doing the podcast, and I haven't been making any Lego videos since I think January 31st, and the reason is I've just been very busy. I've been working full-time, as many of you know, and I also have another YouTube channel where I create Lego videos, or I'm sorry, no, this is the channel where I make Lego videos. I have another channel where I make gaming videos, so it's been really difficult to kind of maintain that channel and work full-time and do videos here, which is why you haven't had any Lego videos. As for why we haven't had any BIONICOMM videos, I can't give you a good reason. It's basically the same reason. I've just been really busy. However, I did want to come back and do some more episodes. I kind of made a promise to myself a while back. Let's do some backstory. You guys want to go for a backstory adventure? We'll get to Bionicle. I've got a list of things I want to talk about in the world of Bionicle. But before we do that, I used to be the biggest fan of a little MMORPG. Some of you may have heard of it. It's called RuneScape. I started playing when I was 12 years old, and I played it for a long, long time. And I would probably still be playing it right now if I wasn't, again, so busy. But back then, I had a podcast that I would listen to. And I think it was RuneScape Radio. I remember the host's name was Gimgak. And it was amazing. Now, it wasn't very long. It didn't last for a very long time. But for the episodes that were there, I loved it. I loved to listen to it as I played RuneScape. And unfortunately, I burnt through all the available episodes pretty quickly, and so I just sat around and waited for more episodes to come out. And they never did. Gimgak in one episode said that he would never just stop the podcast. He would, if it was going to end, he would let people know that, hey, the show is ending. But he didn't. It just ended with, like, no notice, and just disappeared, and Gimgak disappeared. And I remember being really upset about that, because it was sort of like this community that you become a part of, and then all of a sudden it disappears. And I always said, I'm never going to do that. You know, if I ever start something, I'm going to see it through, or at the very end, give people a heads up that, hey, this is over. Which I hadn't done for BIONICOMM. And I'm not doing it now. BIONICOMM is not over by any means. It's just been on an extended hiatus. It is back now. I'm making no promises for when the next episode will be out. Think of this as, if you're a fan of Hat Films, for example, this is a lot like Hat Chat. It's going to be here, and sometimes it'll be really consistent, and other times it'll disappear for a while. But if it's ever gone for good, I will let you know, and there will be, not celebrations, but we'll have like a big finale, and I don't know, I'll give away like a Bionicle mask and my big toe or something. It'll be good times. And I am considering cutting off the big toe. It's given me so many issues, but we're not going to go into that today. Today we're going to talk about Bionicle, so I've got a cup of coffee here with me. Still very hot. Need to let that cool down a little bit, because I have a very sensitive mouth area, like hot things. Blech. But let's get into the news. In the news this week, or actually in the last several months, a whole lot has happened. Now, I'm not going to cover all the things that have happened in Bionicle. I don't think that's my job. I think that there are other people out there who cover Bionicle news a lot better than I ever could, and you guys know who they are. I think that the Three Virtues podcast, in terms of getting all of the news and delivering it quickly, they have got that covered. I think that from now on, news segments in the show are not going to be so much about let's just get the news out there first. It's going to be just discussing it. And, of course, that means that you guys need to sound off down below. And be sure to tweet me any thoughts that you have on Bionicle news coming out. So I've got 4 subjects here that I want to talk about that I think are interesting. And the first off is Bionicle sets release. Now, some of you may notice this information is very old, as Bionicle sets came out in December of 2014 and is now May of 2015. You are correct. It is very old news, and in fact, if you follow my LEGO channel on YouTube, Cubs Bricks, you'll know that I got all the LEGO sets, and I even did an unboxing slash mediocre-ish review of 2 of them, and I intended to do all of them. But I have a problem with quality, in that I want them to be very high quality, and if I don't have the time to put that quality into the videos, I'm just not going to make them. Which means that we've only unboxed Tahu and Kopaka. I still have the other sets, and who knows, maybe someday we'll get to them. But I don't want to assemble them in case I do want to do it on video, so I've kept them very well dusted, and they're cataloged up on a shelf where I can stare at them and just think, oh yeah, Bionicle sets. But I got them, I've unboxed 2 of them, I've assembled 2 of them, the rest of them I have seen assembled because my brother bought them, and I've got to play with them. So don't think that I've just have them in boxes and haven't looked at them. I've gone over to my parents' house and played with my brother's Bionicle sets. Which is weird, because I never thought I would do that, and never in my life thought I would go to my parents' house to play with my brother's toys. But I've done it, it's happened, and let me first off say that I love these sets. They are amazing. There's a few things that I don't like about them. I think that the heads, I think the masks, big mistake. I think that the mechanic is cool, the fact that they can pop off, but to me, they just don't stay on there well enough. And I thought that this was a problem we had with the first few waves of Bionicles back in 2001 through 2003, where the masks just fell off the faces. And I thought that's why we changed them in 2004 with the Toametru and the pin. It slides in and the masks don't just fall off. I thought that we'd learned our lesson. But now we're going back and we're learning it a completely different way. And it's not that big a deal. It's just, really, if you want to move their heads around, you have to hold the mask against the head and, like, wrench it around, because, boy, howdy, does it take some torque to move those things. And I'm not just talking the heads either. It's the whole bodies. If you're like me and you're probably older, you might not want to play with your sets. I don't know. At 22, every so often, I feel compelled to fly my little Lego X-Wing around the room. It's not a big deal, you know? I'm young at heart. But if you're like me and you're most likely just going to have them posed behind you in your gaming, like, face videos, your face cams, that's excellent, because I can guarantee you can pose them and they will not move. Because, boy howdy, are those joints stiff. And I guess that's just a thing with the CCBS, the creature character build system. These are the first sets I've ever owned that use this system, so everything in that unboxing was new to me. That's one of the things I said when I unboxed Tahu and did the Let's Build was, all these new pieces might not be new, but they are very new to me. This is my first CCBS system. I like it. I think that they do look very good, and I mean, again, they're all pretty stiff, but I love the fact that they have brought back gears and that you can actually articulate the arms. So if by somehow you have gone this far without buying some of the sets, definitely go buy them. Tahu and Kopaka are both really great. I think that Kopaka, I think I said in the video, I don't know, I feel like they're a bit too built up around the shoulders, but I think Kopaka I like a little bit more than Tahu. But not only have the winter sets been released, we now have a look at what the summer sets are going to look like, courtesy of the New York Toy Show or Toy Fair. I think it's Toy Fair 2015. And if you guys haven't seen the summer sets yet, which if you're as big a Bionicle fan as me, you were on those pictures the second they came out. But if you haven't, I've got a link down below. I've got a link down below to if you're on YouTube. If not, if you're on iTunes, there will be a link in the description. Click it, hit command info, it'll be there. If you're listening right off Podbean, I don't know, the information's on there someplace, just look for it, you can find it. It's a link to a Toy Arc, where you can just look at all the sets. They've got great pictures of not only the winter sets, but as well as all the summer sets. So, this is where I'm a bit torn. I really like the winter sets. I think that LEGO did an excellent job with them. What I don't like are these the summer sets coming out. Now, they all have a theme around them, right? They're skulls. Skull Slicer, Skull Warrior, Skull Basher, Skull Scorpio. Scorpio, by the way, is a very original name. Good job on that one, LEGO. Mask Maker versus Skull Grinder. So, they all have Skull in the title, and if you look at the sets themselves, they're all very reminiscent of... I guess not reminiscent of anything, but they definitely have some, like, skeletal elements to them. They look bony and almost dead, like they were drudged up from the dead. Maybe they're like zombies or something. I don't know what the story behind them is yet, obviously. I don't know. I think that maybe for what they are, they're cool. I really take issue, though, with the Skull Slicer, the Skull Warrior, and Skull Scorpio, definitely. The sets just look incomplete. And I think that that's part of the aesthetic. I think they're trying to make them look like bony, skeletal. I don't know, though. I just don't like it. I think that they look like incomplete sort of sets. Like a Toa can walk up and just poke them and they're going to fall apart. And maybe that's just me. They definitely are elemental, though. If you look at them, they all have a different coloring to them, and they are all matched to a different Toa. If you look at the box art, it shows each one sort of capturing the Toa's golden mask, so you can get an idea depending on who's holding what mask. Okay, yeah, Skull Slashers, he's more of like the jungle element. He's going up against Liwa. The Skull Warrior's going up against Kopaka. Skull Basher's going up against Onua. Skull Scorpio is paired against... Oh, wait, no. Actually, it looks like Scorpio's got Liwa's mask. Oh, okay, and it looks like Skull Slicer must have... No, wait, hold on. So, just looking at the pictures, I can't tell a difference between... Yeah, Pohatu's. Okay, so Skull Scorpio has Pohatu's mask. Doesn't look like we have one going up against... Oh, this is weird. It doesn't appear to be one going up against... let me go back to the images. Yeah, so I wonder who's Gali and Tahu's supposed to be fighting. There doesn't appear to be any sets matched against them, which is a bit strange. Now, the other set we have, and this is sort of the big set, is the Mask Maker versus Skull Grinder. Now, this, in addition to the Skull... Where is he? Skull Basher. I like these sets. So, first off, Skull Basher, he still has the skeletal theme to him, but he looks more filled out, and he looks awesome. He's got these big old horns. He looks like a big old Texas Longhorn. I'm from Texas, so I just see Texas things everywhere I look. But that, and then the Mask Maker versus Skull Grinder. Skull Grinder looks excellent. And the Mask Maker, Akimu, I'm assuming this is called the Mask Maker. He's a bit on the short side. I would have assumed he'd been a bit taller, but he's apparently a very petite man, or creature, I guess. And I'm okay with that, but it looks like he's going to be resurrected, or not resurrected, I don't think he's dead. He's going to be awoken from his sleep, and he's going to beat the heck out of the Skull Grinder, judging by the picture. And it looks like this will be the set that comes with the Mask of Creation, which is very exciting. But something that all of these have in common, except for Mask Maker versus Skull Spider, we'll get to that one in a second. All the other sets, looks like we have 5 of them. Oh, the Skull sets here, so... No, I'm sorry, we have 4 of them. They all feature the Temple of Time in the background, and what looks like bats flying out of... Actually, to be honest with you, if you've ever seen The Wizard of Oz, it looks like the flying monkeys flying out from the background. I'm not sure what that is, or if those bat monkey creatures will have any bearing on the story. They're just kind of in the background there. Maybe they're just there to look ominous and evil. If so, it works for them. And as for these sets, I don't know. We're definitely going to the Temple of Time in the story, I assume. And maybe we will find the Mask Maker there in his sleep, or maybe that's where we're going to find Makuta. Makuta doesn't appear to be in this lineup, which is maybe a smart idea to save him for later on. Unless he is the Skull Grinder, but he doesn't appear to be. I'm going to assume we're going to get Makuta later. And maybe that information's been leaked somewhere and I've missed it. But sound off. If you're on YouTube, sound off in the comments or email me. Email is, again, in the comments. The only box that does not have the Temple of Time in the background is the Mask Maker versus Skull Spider, which has 2 moons in the background, which is very interesting. Is it not 2 moons? That sounds familiar. Maybe they're on like a big moon and there's 2 moons. I don't know. Unit, Duty, Destiny. I don't know. There's still a lot of things left unanswered, a lot of riddles and mysteries. And hopefully some of those will be answered here soon when the first LEGO BIONICLE chapter book is released for the new wave. So on Amazon right now, I'm going to say this is leaked, even though it technically wasn't. They always post books in advance with a bit of information on them. But we're going to go ahead and put it with a leaked title, and you can find the link down below to the book and check it out for yourself. I'm looking at the Kindle version right here, which looks like it's going to sell for $4.61. It has a list price of $5.99, but the Kindle price is $4.61. You can pre-order now with one click, which I might just do when I'm done recording here, because first off, I love Kindle books because they allow me to just read anywhere. This is now turned into an advertisement for Kindle. I'm not sponsored by Kindle. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. A few things to note. First off, it is called Island of Lost Masks, which is a fitting name, I think, for the series so far. But it is also kind of has, in parentheses, LEGO BIONICLE Chapter Book 1, signifying that this is the start of a new series, which is really exciting. Now, do they mean Chapter Book number 1 as in one a year like they did back in, I believe it was 2001 through 2004, where we had like a book a year? Or will there maybe be another book this year and then maybe multiple books like we had in 2005 going forward, or sometimes we had 5 books or 6 books or 20 books or 3 books? You know, it varied a lot kind of in the later years. But I would hopefully like to see 2 or 3 books a year. I think that 2 would be a good number. One coming out with the winter sets and then one coming out later with the summer sets. I think that would be really cool, but I'll take 1 book a year. It looks like it's going to be 128 pages, which is decent for a Bionicle book. And there is a slight book description. I say slight because it is very small. It's 2 sentences. Well, it's not 2 sentences. It's 2 paragraphs. And each paragraph is very, very short. So let me read them to you. The first paragraph. One of the most popular LEGO lines of all time, the best-selling LEGO Bionicle series, is back with an all-new book. I am salivating. Like, there is so much saliva in my mouth, it's hard to speak. But that was paragraph number 1. Paragraph number 2 reads as follows. The hit LEGO Bionicle series returns with an all-new, never-before-seen adventure. The novel presents a tale of epic proportions set on a mysterious island where the Masters of Elements called Toa fight for powerful masks that can be used for good or evil. And there you go. Actually, that second paragraph it starts off like the first half of the paragraph is just summarizing the first paragraph, so you don't get a whole lot of information in that longer second paragraph. But it's going to be released by Scholastic Inc. on August 25th, 2015, so not too far away now. And it will be 128 pages, available now on Amazon, and I'm sure other places on the web. But if you want to, you can go check that out. I'm really excited about it. Age level, 7 through 10. Grade level, 5 through 5. So I don't know if they expect all 7 to 10-year-olds to be in 5th grade on that, but whatever, you know, I don't question that. Some of you may be wondering who is writing this. Well, that is a fellow by the name of Ryder Windham, and I'll put a link in the description of the video, or if you're listening on iTunes, hopefully by now you've figured out where the links are, and you can go check out his other books. He's written primarily for a couple of other franchises. One you may have heard of, Transformers. Yes, Transformers. And then another one, a slightly more obscure franchise called Star Wars that some of you may have heard of. And I'm looking at it right now. He's got a lot of Kindle ebooks that he has written. Most of them have pretty positive reviews. Now, they haven't been reviewed by a whole lot of people, but the reviews they have gotten all seem to be pretty positive. It looks like most of them have gotten 4-star, a couple of 3.5, a couple of 4.5. Overall, people seem to be pretty positive on the books. I looked at the Star Wars Rebel Ezra's Gamble book, and I read some of the reviews, and then I kind of read, you can read like a sample of it. The writing is fair, and I'm willing to bet he's going to do a pretty good job with these Bionicle books. But again, I'll put a link down below. You can check out his other novels and figure that out for yourself. And now, news issue number 4. If you cannot wait, like if you're just anxious to get your hands on some Bionicle story, and you haven't already, check out the LEGO Bionicle videos on the LEGO YouTube page. Although actually, I'm going to link to a playlist with all of them in there, uploaded by someone called Bionicle and Hero Factory Media Center. I normally don't support the uploading of other people's material. I don't think that that's appropriate. I think that if someone makes content, that is their content, and you shouldn't steal from them, right? Like, they put effort into that. I put effort into this podcast. Don't re-upload it to your channel, because the only effort you put into it was downloading and re-uploading it. You didn't create this. Yeah, you wiener. Don't be a wiener. Don't be thrown on a grill and served up in a hot dog. Don't be like that. Be a good I've gone off on a PSA. I'm going to link to these people, though, simply because LEGO has done a horrible job. I don't know who's in charge of the LEGO YouTube page, but if you're listening to this, and I'm sure they are, people at LEGO listen to this all the time, maybe, you're awful. You need to be fired. Resign now, because you don't know how to do playlists. It's horrible. Like, I've gone to, there's 3 different playlists on there for Bionicle videos in English, and all of them have, they're all like out of order, and half the videos are in one, and some are in the other, and some are just a mix of the, it's a nightmare. So I'm linking to this. They've done a good job gathering up all of the Bionicle promo videos in English, and there is a 9-part series called LEGO Bionicle 2015-episode. That's like the name of the series, I guess. I think it's like Search for the Masks or something like that. It's a 9-part, starting with the prophecy of the heroes, the arrival of the heroes, the quest for the golden mask, the protectors fight back, the power of the golden quest for the mask team. They're all really good. They're very fun. Like, that's the thing about them. They're not very dark. There's definitely some darker elements to them, but they're all very lighthearted. And we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. when we get to the part of the show where I talk about my feelings. Right now, we're just delivering the news, and a big piece of the news is if you're watching these series, look for the Kanohivahi, the Mask of Time. It is in every single one of these. It's sort of in the background there. It's almost like a Pixar movie where they hide the little Easter eggs. The Kanohivahi is in every single one of these, which is kind of a big deal because, of course, we know there's a place called the Temple of Time in this series. We know that the very first promo video that was released, the Bionicle Legend video, had the Kanohivahi. We know that someone at the Comic-Con in New York said that the Kanohivahi, the original one from 2003, I believe it was only half of a mask, and it's been rumored that the other half is Anokoto. I'm not sure how that's going to play in with the old series. Like, oh, the old one was only half a mask. Well, if the old one is a completely different timeline than the new one, it's a completely different story arc, they're not connected. How is there half of one here and half of one here? What's going on? I don't know. But I'm not going to tell you where to find the Kanohivahis. You can find them yourself. Think of it as a game. But they're Easter egged in every single video, which I think is pretty cool. And of course, if you can't find them, scroll down. Someone will have listed where they are in the comments. In other news, there's also a search for the masks giveaway, win a 14-karat mask. I don't really care about this kind of stuff. I'm not going to win the 14-karat masks. This is blech, but you can Google it and find out more about it. What is important is that to sort of promote this, they've been doing these behind the scenes, kind of how we developed the new characters videos, again, on their horribly managed YouTube page. It's awful, but if you can find them on there, I'll link to their YouTube page. You can find them yourselves. They're on there. I think they have them for Gali, Liwa, and Kopaka right now, and it looks like they're adding more in the future. They're pretty interesting if you just want to see kind of their rationale behind the making of the masks. And I will warn you, though, only half the video is about that. The other half is about, go join our giveaway, the hunt for these golden masks. So, you know, there's that to consider. But they're pretty cool. I enjoyed them. Something I didn't put in my notes, but I think I probably should talk about, is that LEGO's released a Bionicle Mask of Creation game on iOS, and I think maybe Android. No promises on that. I downloaded it. It's pretty fun. It's also extremely repetitive, but if you just want something to play for a while, it's good times. I'll put a link to the iOS store, if I remember, in the description of this video, or again, wherever it is on iTunes. I don't know where it is. I'll be honest. If you can find it on there, there you go. With the news out of the way, though, we move on to other things, and let's just talk, shall we? Let's just talk for a moment about Bionicle. Let's talk about the story and the characters and the tone of this new series. Now, some people have taken issue with the fact that the series, the videos that YouTube has been posting on, I almost said that YouTube's been posting on LEGO. The videos that LEGO have been posting on YouTube are very lighthearted and silly. Like, they definitely have the dark, edgy tone of the original Bionicle, but they're not as dark. They're not as edgy. They're definitely more lighthearted. They're more comedic. You know, there's the one where Kopaka slips in the eyes and goes, or didn't slip. You know, it's like, haha, it's kind of funny, but it's not Bionicle. I'm actually okay with this. In fact, I actually approve of this, and here's why. In order for LEGO to continue making Bionicle, which I definitely want them to do, they have to appeal to the prime audience. They have to appeal to the kids who aren't necessarily going to buy the sets, but who are going to beg their parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and, you know, if you're me, nieces, to to buy you the sets. And those kids, they like the lighthearted jokes. They like Kopaka slipping and saying, oh, it didn't slip. You know, they think that's funny. Or when Tahu babbles, I hear a voice in my head. They enjoy that. And I think the more kids they have watching these and interacting and buying the sets, the better a chance we have of getting more Bionicle for many years to come. And while I would love for them to make just a dark, gritty Bionicle, like, adult reboot, it's not going to happen because the audience isn't there for it. We're here for it. It's just not a large enough audience is there for it. So I'm okay with LEGO taking a more kind of comedic turn on the series. That's fine by me. I enjoy it. Now, as to the future of this channel and the future of BIONICOMM, now I announced a while back on my channel that I've changed the name of BIONICOMM. The actual YouTube, or the actual iTunes sort of podcast is now called Just Cubs Bricks, and that is because I want to start creating, whenever I make a video, I can also create like an audio version and put it on the iTunes for people to listen to if they want to. But as for the future of the channel and the future of this show, I'm really not sure where I'm going to go with it, simply because of time. My hope and my dream is that someday I will be able to create, if not daily, at least weekly content for my LEGO channel. In the month of April, I sort of dedicated myself to growing my gaming channel. And the reason is this. I have always enjoyed entertaining people. Ask my mother. At the age of 3, if I could make you laugh, I had a good day. That was my day done. I would eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich and watch Thomas the Tank Engine. You know, I've entertained someone. I'm finished for the day. And I have always enjoyed doing that. I have always, particularly with people younger than me, right? Like, I enjoy, like, entertaining everyone, but I've always had a thing for, like, kids, right? You know, when I was 16 and all of my friends had, you know, nothing to do with our siblings, I was the guy who was like, what are you guys doing? Oh, cool, I'll be the dragon. You can chase me around with the swords. You know, I think probably because kids are easier to entertain. And obviously, as I've gotten older, there's more people younger than me, right? Like, when I was 16, there was only, like, 15 years of people younger than me that I could entertain. And now that I'm 22, there's 21 years of people younger than me I can entertain. And I've become more comfortable with entertaining people my own age, and the idea that there are older people that watch me on my gaming channel, the idea that there are 30 and 40-year-old dads who leave comments on my gaming channel, I'm okay with that now, right? Like, I've accepted that. And I love it. I really enjoy it. And I want to do that full time as like a living. So I've been doing my best over there because that's my #1 channel. You know, it gets 50,000 views a month. I'm trying to expand and grow that to a point where I can make a living off of that alone and then quit my full-time job. Like, I want to scale back first the full-time job and then kind of balance the two, and then eventually just like fade that job off and do maybe not just YouTube, but definitely do this sort of entertaining thing full time, because I love it. It's my passion, and it's actually something that's obtainable, right? It's not like I'm going to be the next Star Wars movie star. It's possible, but it's unlikely. You know, it's not like that. YouTube and being an entertainer, it's actually very obtainable. You know, people every day come home and tell their parents, hey, I'm quitting my job at McDonald's. I'm doing this full time. I don't work at McDonald's, but you get the idea. And of course, everybody's like, you can't be on the internet full time. It's like, well, yeah, you can. We live in a golden age. But that's sort of my focus right now. The reason you're not seeing a lot of videos here on the Cubs Brick channel or in the BIONICOMM podcast is because I'm really focusing a lot of my effort on that gaming channel and growing it. And I've created something called Cubs Crew, where the folks over there on the gaming channel get these newsletters via email with little tasks of things they can do to go out and kind of help grow the channel and make it more popular. And so I've been working on that, and I'm hoping, my goal, my dream is that by the end of 2015, I will be self-sustained on YouTube. Now, I'm not looking to make a mint by any stretch of the imagination. I actually, in fact, I've looked at what I need to survive, like scrape out a living, and I think that that's hopefully going to be obtainable. Obviously, I'd like to eventually someday have a wife and a family, so after I'm able to take care of myself on YouTube, I'm going to have to step things up to produce more content and make that a viable reality in the future. But one step at a time here, people. But that's why you're not going to see so many videos here. You're not going to get a whole lot of like weekly podcasts, although that would be awesome. And maybe in the future, when I am completely sustained by my gaming channel, doing that full time, I can also have more time to do stuff over here. Totally. But I just wanted to explain to you guys why there's not been a lot of videos, there's not been a lot of podcasts. That's the reasoning, and I hope you guys will understand, and I hope you know that I still have a passion for this. I love LEGO, I love Bionicles, and I would totally love to do more content here. It's just, I gotta get Cub Games up and going, youtube.com/CubGames, if you want to go subscribe and watch gaming videos. You could help. You could help me get to that goal. You can head on over there and subscribe. It'd be awesome. But that's sort of my goal for right now. That's where I'm focusing all of my efforts, and hopefully that'll change soon. You know, you never know. I think that pretty much sums this up. We've talked about the big things that I wanted to talk about in the world of Bionicle. And again, not a whole lot of news to you, more so just my opinions on the news. And thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for commenting and tweeting every so often. You know, when's the next one coming out? Well, here it is. My gift to you. Happy May 2nd. And May 4th is coming up here, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Always. And I will see you folks later. This is the legend of the BIONICOMM. Yeah, we'll finish on that. All right. Bye, guys.